Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. A very warm welcome to my live viewers, and a very warm welcome to anyone who is taking the time to watch this recording, and an extra special welcome, not extra special, but a special welcome to anyone who's new to this channel. Thank you so much for joining in to celebrate Christmas Eve together. So, Christmas Eve. Isn't that interesting? It's a holiday that's about another holiday. It's like this holiday, Christmas, is so special. We're going to have a special day to honor that special day. No other holiday quite like that I'm aware of. I got a beautiful question from a new friend from India, and I believe she is Hindu. And she just wrote some amazing questions. She wrote, I have, and not just a question, but a heart wish. She wrote, I have a very genuine, lovely wish to celebrate Christmas as much as possible. And she wrote, so I'd like to know a few things regarding Christmas. First off, I would love to know, let's see. Are all human beings, irrespective of their religion, caste, and culture, are allowed to celebrate Christmas? And she wanted to know how to celebrate it culturally. So, thank you so much for the question. And hey, Germana. So, first and foremost, just to backtrack a little bit, I love this question because it actually gets at the root of what Bruno Groening's whole message about Christmas. His whole message was people don't know how to celebrate Christmas. And so it's so beautiful to get this message. That's the thing, Bruno never quite said it that way, but I think that was really what Bruno was saying about Christmas was no one ever asks, how do we celebrate Christmas? He did say this, people just do it the same way they did it the last year and the year before that. Because that's how their family did it. And that's how their family's family did it. And that's how their family's family did it. He said, people have it all wrong. So this very sincere question from this person really gets at the root, I believe, of what Bruno Groening was saying about Christmas. So thank you so much to the person. I hope she gets a chance to watch this video. And it's a beautiful invitation for me to then speak about Christmas to someone who literally knows next to nothing about it. What a great invitation for all of us to look at Christmas with fresh eyes. So thank you, God, Bruno, and Jesus for sending that question my way by this person. So, first and foremost, on the simplest level, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Christ. Everyone who's heard of Christianity or heard of Christmas knows that much. But why celebrate it? Well, Bruno Groening said that Christ was humanity's greatest friend and the supreme spiritual healer. So we're celebrating what's called the Advent, the coming to this earth of a great soul, of a spiritual being, I don't even have the words really, an unspeakably spiritual being, like a high, vast being who's coming here is a blessing to the entire planet and actually a blessing to all of us. Let's back up a moment. And again, Bruno said, Christ is humanity's greatest friend and the supreme spiritual healer. Now let's keep in mind, for Bruno Groening, healing wasn't just the elimination of disease. Healing is the elimination of the cause of disease, which he called evil. So another way to say it is that all of our problems in life, all of them, whether they be physical, emotional, mental, financial, relational, all stems from this thing Bruno called evil. You can think of it as the opposite of what's good. And so healing for Bruno Groening is a removal of that force, that energy. And it's almost like more as a side effect than the disease goes to, because you've removed the cause. And Bruno spoke of salvation from a spiritual sense of the word, with a spiritual definition, that salvation was freeing the soul from evil. So all of our problems come from this thing. So we're a divine soul. We are a purely divine soul. Each one of us, some more, some less, have been covered over by evil, by negativity, by ignorance, delusion, different words for it. Salvation is breaking free from all of that, everything not good. And Bruno Groening said that Christ was the supreme healer, meaning the supreme facilitator of breaking away that evil, that ignorance, selfishness, ego, whatever you want to call it. And so that's a huge part. There's many facets, but that's one of the essential parts of the holiday. The holiday. And to really appreciate it, we have to, paradoxically, to appreciate the good that God sent, we have to recognize the evil. We have to recognize how much evil there is in this world. We have to understand the pain and the suffering that evil causes. And Bruno called us to reflect on how evil degrades us, is what he said. And then try to break free on our own and recognize how hard that is. So it's like once we understand, in the German word for evil, Bosse, it also means vicious. It also means nasty. So once we understand the nastiness of evil and how hard it is to break free from it, then we can begin to celebrate a being such as Christ, who has freed so many people from so much evil and is still available to help us today on this journey. So let's take a little time and receive some of that divine help. To anyone who's new, it's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor. Hands on your legs, palms facing upwards. And then close your eyes. And be open to the idea that there is a divine healing energy which can heal and solve all problems. And either inwardly say a prayer or have the intention to receive that. And observe your body, noticing what you feel, having the will, the intention to take this energy in, and welcoming the calm and the peace and quiet. Noticing what you feel, intending to take in this goodness and take in the peace and quiet. Oops, excuse me. Taking in the good. So how to celebrate it? How to celebrate this? Well, of course, it's going to be a very individual thing. And paradoxically, Bruno Groening said part of the way to celebrate it is to say yes to the gift that God has sent, that Christ was actually a gift, that God gave us a gift, and that it's our job to take that gift in. And what that means, I can just share my own experience, but it's a very personal thing. I think what I'll do is I'll read some of Bruno's words on this topic. Bruno went so far as to say that God expects us to take this gift into ourselves. And what does it mean to take Christ into ourselves? I've heard that phrase for years from Christians, and I had no idea what it meant. It's very personal, but I'll share my own experience with it. It was, just in one moment, just saying, Jesus Christ, I don't know what to think. My Christian friends say that you can really come alive in us, and I need you. I need you to do that for me. I need your help. I need you to come alive in me and make me strong. And something entered me, and from that day forward, I felt like a very different person. Not that everything was perfect, but that that I had a strength that I did not have before. And so that's my own experience. And, you can talk to Christians or not just Christians. I wouldn't necessarily use that word to describe myself. I'm someone who I follow Christ. I think it kind of happens a little bit different for everyone. So Let's see if I can find what Bruno had to say. Please bear with me one moment. In essence, what Bruno said about, I'm just going to have to go by memory in my heart, was that most people don't believe that Christ is always with us, that Christ can guide us, and that we can actually take Christ in. And I was one of those people who didn't really believe that. And I just had a moment where I surrendered and I opened, and I found that to be very true. That and the thing is Bruno speaks of Christ as a friend for all of humanity, not just a friend for Christians, not just a friend for people who have a particular belief. But can you imagine that? Someone who cares about everyone and is somehow able to help everyone. Bruno said, and they still do not know what Christ means for us. And even now, they still do not know that we have to do nothing else but follow him. He has given us a great task for our lives. He brought so much with him into our earthly lives that we ourselves, also regard as individuals, have to put all of this into practice. That is our path, my dear friends, and no other. So what does it mean to follow Christ? Again, opinions, you'll hear so many different opinions. Bruno basically said that what Christ did was surrender to God fully. Christ became, in the truest sense of the word, a servant of God, an instrument of God. And it's my understanding that that's the path that Christ called all of us to. Not to follow him in the sense of like, hey, I want a bunch of followers, but to follow his example, or even follow Christ, meaning we're all going to become religious or spiritual teachers, but to follow Christ in the sense of that surrender, that fully giving over our life to God. It's my understanding of what what this is all about. When Bruno says our path is nothing else than to follow Christ, that's my understanding of what he meant. He said, that is our path, my friends. Yeah. And even now, they still do not know that we have nothing to do. We have to do nothing else but follow him. That is our path, my dear friends, and no others. Now, of course, I'm sharing my understanding of what Bruno taught, and I'm reading some quotes of Bruno's, and of course, I'm in school just like everyone else. I don't stand here as some kind of master or guru, that I've fully surrendered to God and I'm guided by God each moment. And yet Bruno Groening called this life here on earth a school. And I'm convinced that the fundamental lesson that we're all learning is attuning ourselves to God and following God. Moment by moment. It's not easy. I've had a very bumpy day today. Many, many moments of flow where I felt connected to God and guided, and many moments of not. flow where I was making decisions on my own and things were pretty bumpy. So welcome to the Earth School. So let's take a little time and continue to take in some more good energy. But the other key things that Bruno spoke of in terms of celebrating Christmas was to ask ourselves, what is our deepest heart wish? I'll read what he wrote. I want to say to you that this year, on this holy night, meaning Christmas Eve, you are preparing yourselves, I believe, for this, that you too are bringing your heart's desire before God himself, and that by then you will have separated yourself from all evil, and that you also pray often and eagerly to God and have faith that he will hear your prayers, and then you too, provided it is your heart's desire to obtain only what is good, you too will receive this good. That there's a special grace available. Really plead with our hearts for our deepest heart wish. And in this speech, which I'm reading from, I'll post a link to it. Oops, nope, that's a link to this video. Bruno spoke about our deepest heart wish being to be free of everything not good. And I invite people to look at this speech for themselves and reflect on that. So friends, going to be back again in about 2.5 hours. It's a Christmas Eve marathon. I'd like to thank everyone for joining in. Thanks for the emojis, Germana. Some of you, it's over in Europe, it's nighttime. In essence, according to Bruno Groening, the most sacred time of the year has begun for you. This holy night. I wish you deep prayer and deep meditation. Aww. And deep openness to receive For some of you, that'll be an openness to receiving Christ. For some, to receiving God. I've learned that Christ and God are not so concerned with our ideological beliefs. They're concerned with our intention. Is our intention for the good? Then Jesus is on board for that. Whether we believe, there's so many different theological beliefs about Jesus. As I draw closer to Jesus, what I find is he's more concerned with my intention. Is my intention for God, for the good, for love, for service, for peace, for health? Then he's on board for it. Whether I adhere to a particular doctrine about Jesus. You're so welcome forever. It's such my pleasure to do this. And so again, Bruno, let me see if I can find, there's one more thing I want to, my closing. So Bruno was talking about, how exciting it is to give and receive presents on Christmas. And then here's what he said. For he, God, once gave us so rich a gift. Again, I must say, he sent us a son, his son. And he worked through him. And through Christ, he showed us the way. He has given us more, certainly, than just an earthly gift. This is a personal gift. Naturally, God expects from us not just anything, but just this, that we take this, his gift, into ourselves. So friends, this night, and Bruno implied very strongly that God just didn't give that gift once, but that gift gets given again every Christmas Eve. I wish everyone to really take this gift into themselves. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll be back in 2.5 hours. Take care, dear ones. Much love. And for those who it is Christmas Eve, I wish you such a sacred, precious, pure, holy night. Take care.